Welcome back. So good to see you. Hopefully you're not getting too tired of being closed in the home. I heard a joke recently. It says that in honor of all this staying inside, the only thing we're allowed to tell anymore is inside jokes. My daughter would say that would be a dad joke, but that's just for your fun and entertainment. Tonight I want to bring your attention to Job, the 8th chapter. The 7th verse says, though your beginning was small, yet your latter end would increase abundantly. I don't know if you ever heard of the Hebrew alphabet, but they're one of the smallest letters in the Hebrew alphabet is the YUD, Y-U-D. It's barely more than a dot. In fact, if you're not really looking careful at it, you could miss it. But from the YUD came the Roman letters that we use, the I and the J. And from the YUD came the Greek letter iota, which we say sometimes, I don't know, I don't have one iota. That's where it came from. It's a real small thing. It all comes from that little small letter, but as it says in Job, sometimes the smallest of letters can bring about the most significance. The YUD, the Y-U-D, that brings the greatest and most sacred of words that we have. Yahweh begins with the YUD, the Jehovah Yahweh. Israel begins with a YUD. The city of David, Jerusalem, begins with a YUD. The name Jesus that we call upon, the Hebrew letter, begins with a YUD. So the greatest of words, these here start with the smallest of letters. The same way sometimes the greatest works of God begin with the smallest steps. Life itself begins on a scale so small that it can be barely seen. But that's how we bring about change in our life. That's how we go from failure in life to a life of victory. Many times we can get overwhelmed with the prospect of changing. So how do you make change? How do you make positive change in your life? Well, just with that, with a YUD, by taking the smallest of steps. The small increment steps can bring about some of the greatest changes. Just changing small percentage of your life in the long run can bring about the greatest of dividends. So with the YUD, you start by taking these small steps. You don't start out with a great victory. You take one step of YUD, of courage, that iota of change, the smallest of steps, and you can start and bring about some of the greatest changes in your life. You can begin the greatest changes in your life when you begin to understand the secret of the YUD. I wanted to say this to encourage you. Sometimes when we are faced with some insurmountable things in life, sometimes not knowing where to start or how are we going to accomplish them. There's so much to do with, I don't have much to give, but yet if you continue to give just those small steps, over time, you're going to make a great difference in life. I thank you again for joining us. Come back often. We look forward to worship with you. We're joining you wherever you may be. I hope this is an encouragement to you. Please contact us at any time if you need any prayer, but we want to be there for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you and have a great day.